Live from the U.S. in progress at the American Film Festival in Poland. I'm speaking to Anu Valia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Anu Valia.
Anu Valia. And what I liked about reading the little book, it says you're originally from India and raised in Indiana. I kind of like that, just that, how that physically looks on one line. I think that's great. You come to these labs with your unfinished project. However, I want to say from the onset, we have high expectations for you because you went to Sundance with a short in 2017. You win an award, and then it's just like a series of great professional things that are happening to you. It's such a great, but it's really, really interesting because you go into Sundance with the short film, then you're able to not learn the craft, but able to touch a whole bunch of stuff with television. Mm-hmm. And so you're very much part of this microcosm that's able to touch a little bit of everything before then getting into feature film. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to get a sense of incrementally, what does that do for you, not only for your learning curve, but also making it so that this project, We Strangers, becomes more palpable or shapes itself before you even start writing it, let's say?
That's a really insightful question. Thank you for asking. That's very beautiful. And humbly, I have to say that getting to exercise your narrative directing craft in television has been incredibly helpful. It keeps you sharp, but by no means does it mean you'll be a good artist. By no means does it mean that you can get to the heart and truth of what you're preoccupied by as an artist and be able to communicate that in a special, unique way. There's so many amazing filmmakers here who've never done television, who are better filmmakers than I am. And I noticed I would push against maybe bad habits. Maybe bad's not the way. Easy habits I learned to be able to function in the television space, make your days. I need to cover the scene a little quicker, so I kind of use things I've used in my back pocket that I have to forget and push against. So you get back to maybe my filmmaking style in my shorts. And then also, you just never guarantee. This process has been so interesting to me because all I can say, I have a goldfish memory. I forget everything that's come before. It's only what's in front of you. And all I can say is that this process, making this movie with all of the specific artists, the actors, the crew, the editor, and the film has become its own little thing. It's really is, it tells me what it is. You listen and you go, what are you? And it tells you. It tells you if it's working, it tells you if it's not. It's so different than anything I've ever done before. So I feel very much, I'm just I'll go back to the edit next week and it's who are you? I just watched it the other day in that audience and I was oh, okay, that scene, that's not really working the way, and you keep, it has nothing to do with me. I'm just one conduit. So is the editor, so are the actors. It literally has nothing to do with me. I just happen to be making some editing decisions and to try to create a feeling for an audience. And it will resign.
It's a living, breathing thing.
It's its own thing. Yeah.
You're coming to it with a fresh pair of eyes, I guess.
Yeah.
If you take the time to blink.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm just one person and it moves the way I want to move. So if you watch it and you're on the wavelength, then you're just kind of thinking how I'm thinking, but for some people it just doesn't, and we just move at completely different paces. And I have to become okay with that because it hurts you, but then you're you're different, you know what I mean? And it's just so different than television directing, but it's also, I think the thing about getting to direct often, for any director, specifically that's really helpful is you get to work with a lot of actors all the time. And it keeps your tools sharp.
Yes.
But that's a thing that forever, I'm gonna look back in 20 years and be that bitch didn't know anything, Or I'll probably also think, oh, she was so naive and that's nice. So I don't know, it's a really mystical process. And I feel very lucky to get to do it once, twice, 3 times, I feel very lucky, so. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, of course. we covered everything from A to Z. But no, it's fun to develop a shorthand, also cut your teeth on other people's money or dreams or whatnot, and then be able to come to your material that means something more to you.
Yeah, and other people's writing.
Yeah.
You're directing other people's vision, and it's very different than directing your own film, you know?
This I got a sense, I love the fact that she listens to music so much. There's like a very insular world that exists in this film, and it's like, it's almost, I want to say it's like almost meta level, and like I like how there's all these hierarchies that exist, and I love how your character plays with the idea of power dynamics and how she uses it into her, like, she's listening to music, and that's her way to sort of like negate or push away those boundaries, but then she's very much knows how she wants to use her power. Mm-hmm. Where does the genesis of the idea come from for not only exploring this world, but for your main character? Where did both of those elements come from?
Oh man, talk about being on the same like wavelength. Like, to hear you talk about the film, I'm like, wow, I feel seen. Even though that, you know, I've been developing this movie, it's been 9 years. I've been working on the film. I've done like over 30, like 37 drafts of the film, multiple page one rewrites. So again, the film tells you what it is, but it comes from like everything you're saying. When you've worked on a film for that long, just like things just continue to get baked in. But the real genesis core idea, there's themes, there's a lot of things we're exploring, but the core idea is me exploring assimilating. Mm-hmm. And the idea of when you feel like an outsider, and to be able to ingratiate yourself with people in order to navigate worlds that you're not necessarily at home in, you learn to be a chameleon. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking like, okay, you learn to be a chameleon. Then I was like, then I started to feel like, but what does that cost? What does that take from you? I was thinking of my own experience. It's different than Ray's, but you know, what have I spent so many years, if I've spent so many years doing that, what have I not been stoking in myself, because I've been giving it to all these other people. And then I was like, well, okay, I'm interested in that. I'm not gonna make that movie one-to-one, that's boring. Like, I don't care, you know, but I wanna use that now through the lens of a housekeeper whose job is to be a fly in the wall, whose job is to sort of just kind of blend in. What if she's tired of doing that? And what if she goes, I'm gonna take control, I'm gonna manipulate you guys. And you through this exploration of race and class and these boundaries, you guys are all too happy to think I'm
this
psychic.
One thing, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's not premeditated in like her thoughts, because I don't think people always do that. I think they just make impulsive decisions, and then you kind of have to double down. But she goes, okay, if you guys are kind of forcing me into this, I will take it and run with it. I will master the rules of the game and manipulate you guys and have control and have some fun with that, until you realize the game is really not for you and doesn't really make you happy, you know? So she basically like inadvertently like ruins these people's lives because they allow her to, and they ask her to, and they almost force her to. But then it's fun. Like, it's fun for a while. It's fun to kind of climb up the ranks in another person's world. But then that whole structure isn't going to make you happy because it was never there for you to succeed in the first place. So maybe it's not for you. And that's kind of where the film goes. You know, she starts conning the woman that you met, and then later on the film, her
Maria Dizza.
The Maria Dizza who plays Jean, and then Sarah Goldberg who plays Tracy. Tracy is the doctor's wife. One is a skeptic, one's a believer, but she ends up conning these women and charging them for her services, as she should, and it's fun. And like, I think the movie has fun with that because I want to see her succeed. I think I had a lot of conversations with Kirby, the actor, where she was like, I enjoy playing with these people. I don't want to put words in her mouth, but like, she was like, they do not intimidate me. They make me uncomfortable, but I'm not intimidated by them. And so she takes the mantle and she runs with it, and I think it's very fun to watch her. But then, you know, then it's like this, she will eventually get pushed out.
It's never too late to have life lessons served to you on a cold plate of revenge, I guess. And I want to say that women in subservient or domesticated things belongs to like this long family tree since Jean Delmen to an extent. I was wondering what kind of, more recently I was thinking of The Chambermaid, a Mexican film from 2018, but like what are sort of some films that have imprinted themselves in you? I mean, if you're working on this for 9 years, you're thinking of a lot of things, actually like even newspaper headlines or just social trends and other art forms. Like, is there any like strong elements that sort of influenced you and
oh yeah, I mean like Black Girl, do you know that movie?
Yes.
On the film.
Yes.
And it's interesting because the film deals with race and class and conning people, manipulating people, and so like it's a real mix of different films. So like thematically, Black Girl is a big film, but then so was Lucretia Martel's Headless Woman, like an incredible movie of interiority.
Yes.
That film has like, even though I fucking love that movie, but I was gonna say is like the setup of that film's a little bit more, it's like this woman thinks that she's killed somebody, so I guess that's like higher stakes, but it's so interior. You have this woman that's almost impenetrable in the way she is on her face, but you're just in her head. For some reason, it's a magic trick to me. And then also Sebastian, I hope I don't, if you can, Sebastian Lelio,
yes,
Gloria.
Yeah.
That's also weirdly also is a big reference of the film, more how it moves in terms of just watching this woman and revealing, oh, she's so much more than what you think she is. Because also another thing with the film is somebody who's typically like a background character, literally just as like, I'm the main character of this film now. And like, there's very purposely complete melodrama happening around her. Like, her boss is sleeping with his neighbor. It's all just melodrama. But I thought it'd be fun to be like, well, the film is not focused on that. It's focused on this woman who's using that to her advantage. And how did you, like the geometry, like there's, when she's peering out, when she's looking at other people's lives, like I love the film vocabulary that you're using for like angle shots and like her peering into like the driveway and her sort of like, she's gaining the upper hand by retrieving or getting information. And like I like the idea that she's very much in her mindset or headspace, like the fact that she's listening to like all these different brands of music. It means like she has that protective layer, but she's very curious. She's like a detective. She's like picking up a lot of cues and then being able to like map out things on an unconscious level. Oh my God, that makes me feel so like, because you don't, I gotta tell you, as I'm sure you've talked to many different filmmakers, there's a long time where the film is not working and then you go, I think we've got it. And that's a testament also to our editor, James, where you're playing around with subjectivity. So it's just kind of like, is this working as your, because she's kind of unreadable, but you should know what she's feeling all the time. And that's kind of a trick. It's been challenging, but if you can nail it, it feels good. I don't know, that's for other people to say, not me, I guess. But with music's really, you know, the music that she listens to is like a local Gary Black artist, rapper. Then it's like, you haven't met the daughter of the mixed race Indian white American daughter, but she's listening to like popular rap. And then it's like when they go into a party later, it's like the whitest music. And it's just kind of like we play with music and how different people in different spaces are listening to different songs. You know, I think many artists do that. But like and the way it's shot, it's like I wanted you to have a subjective, I wanted you to feel what Ray was feeling without, but I still wanted you to feel like you were a fly. Like I wanted you to feel close to her, but I didn't want to just be like following her like a handheld. We feel as the 20 or 25 minutes, I feel there is a boundary. I do feel removed from the character, even though I am part of her world. Yes. So I like I want you to be watching and feeling what she's feeling while you're also watching her move. Because it was important to me that like, that you as an audience could see, the film is so much about subtext, it's so much about what's not being said, that I wanted you to feel like you're watching every single person and making your own, and filling up that space. Exactly, so you're a more active participant in the film as opposed to following this one person and it feeling like cinema verite. 'Cause it's just not like I didn't know if I could capture subtext that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But it's all an experiment. It is my first film, so we're just trying stuff.
And we're near the finish line, so that's why you came over here with the project. So what are your, like, how do you foresee the final kilometers to this project? Like what does that look like palpably to you?
What's interesting, because I'm in the unique, hopefully only one-time position of you just kind of think you have money for post, and then you start shooting, and you're like, just taking all that money. Yeah. So now, luckily I've been working with really trusted collaborators of mine from like my school days. My editor James and I have been making shorts since 2011 together, and so we're going to picture lock in a few weeks, and then it's kind of a rush to get our sound design, VFX, titles, color, and I think as any US filmmaker feels, or maybe any filmmaker, we're trying to make a Sundance deadline. But if it does get into Sundance, we have a lot to do in about 2 months. If it doesn't get into Sundance, we have a blissful 4 months to finish.
Kiss goodbye to your Christmas holidays, if you had any. Kiss goodbye to that. Because your only day off is the day that you travel into Park City. But we don't know. We don't know.
That's exactly right. If it got into Sundance, I actually was talking earlier to the jury, and I was like doing the timeline based on it premiering, and I was like, oh, we're fucked. Like, that's really fast. Because sound is huge in the film, and what you guys just saw is all temp. We have a huge work to do with sound and Foley, and it's a little like, you can't do all that for free. You got to pay some people. And our composer, Jay Wadley, who he's going to just get started on it. The last movie he did was Charlie Kaufman's I'm Thinking of Ending Things. And he was wonderful. He did my short. We had no money. My short was about abortion, so he used his body as his musical instrument. It's so beautiful. He's so smart. I also was like, I remember my first time working with him. I'd never worked with a composer before, and he was like, let me show you what I'm doing. And I was like, okay, that's great. I have no notes. I don't know what to do now.
They're a weird bunch, right?
Yes. But now, we want to work with an orchestra. So there's all the temp music there is like Ryuichi Sakamoto, we stole from Portrait of a Lady on Fire. We're just like taking from other films, and so it needs a composer.
Yeah, let the producers handle all the
How do you pay these people?
shenanigans
I don't know,
at the end.
But anyway, it's really helpful to be at a program like this because the States, besides Sundance, and now Tribeca's doing it again, there's not a lot of donation support for narrative fiction. For docs there is, but so we hope.
Anu, thank you so much for your time, and good luck.
Much.
Good luck on the final stretch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, this is Eric from IONCINEMA.com. If you want to support us, subscribe below. For more reviews, interviews, film festival coverage from Sundance, Cannes, Toronto, you want to check out these guys on this side.